Thank you for joining us at the annual Justice Center Award Ceremony. My name is Devin Robinson. I'm the Deputy Director of the Office of Outreach and Prevention and Support at the Justice Center. Today, we have an opportunity to celebrate and honor dedicated people who have spent their lives helping people, vulnerable people, live meaningful lives in the community, free from abuse and neglect, and protected from harm. We'll begin today's ceremony with a presentation of the 2020 Champion Award winners, followed by this year's Code of Conduct Award winner presentations. We will end the ceremony with a brief video depicting all of the dedicated people who have provided essential services and continue to do so during this most challenging and difficult year. And that video will be available on our website afterwards. Before we begin, here are a few housekeeping items. Please look at the control bar at the bottom of your screen. If you don't see the control bar, just scroll your mouse down near the bottom of the screen and they should appear. Your mics have been muted to cut down on background noise, but you may use the chat feature to offer congratulations to the award winners. Just type in congratulations or way to go and the person's name. Use the raise hand function if you are having any technical difficulties, and one of our event organizers will send you a private chat. Please reply with your question or concern and they will help you. Please note that we will not be using the question and answer feature for this event. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Justice Center's Executive Director, Denise Miranda, to kick off today's event. Thank you, Kathy.
Good morning, and thank you for being here today. My name is Denise Miranda, and I'm the Executive Director of the Justice Center. I would like to welcome you to our annual Code of Conduct and Justice Center Champion Award ceremony. The Justice Center's Advisory Council has been recognizing dedicated members of the workforce, as well as individuals and organizations that support the Justice Center on an annual basis for the past 5 years. We have always known just how essential these direct care workers are for the individuals they serve. Families have been telling us for years about dedicated members of the workforce who have changed the lives of individuals receiving services. But this year, everything changed. Essential has taken on a whole new meaning. Direct care workers have become a lifeline for individuals with special needs through the COVID pandemic. To hear their stories among the record number of nominations has been humbling. Workers moving out of their own homes and into residences to prevent spreading infection. Staff working around the clock to address every need of the individuals they serve, setting aside concerns for their own health to care for people who had contracted COVID. We often speak of the dedicated workforce when we talk about our work. There has been no greater example of this definition than the work that has been done these past 6 months. We know these jobs are often thankless, that direct care workers put in long hours under difficult circumstances with little recognition other than the pride they have in their work and the love they feel from those they serve. That understanding is how the Code of Conduct and Champion Awards came to fruition. We felt the need to recognize these dedicated workers who sacrifice so much to serve individuals with special needs. It is my pleasure today to begin with our Justice Center Champion Award winners. This award recognizes people and organizations that support individuals under Justice Center jurisdiction. Our first award is presented to Mary Bonsignor. Mary passed away earlier this year after serving on the Justice Center's Advisory Council for 7 years, never missing a single meeting. She was characterized by some as a lioness in the advocacy movement and a beacon of strength for so many families. In her 5 decades of advocacy work, Mary never shied away from sharing her opinion or her strong beliefs. She was very involved in the Bronx Developmental Disabilities Council and always made sure the Justice Center was included in their events. Among her many commitments to service, Mary was also a board member of the Institutes of Applied Human Dynamics and a founding member of Services for the Developmentally Challenged. Mary was deeply devoted to her sons, including Michael, who receives OPWDD services in a residential setting. 2 years ago, Mary expressed in the Justice Center video series her hope that the Justice Center would serve to protect vulnerable people like her son long after she was gone. Accepting on Mary's behalf her good friend and fellow Advisory Council member, Mary St. Mark.
Am I ready, Denise? Good morning.
Yes, Mary.
Okay. Thanks, Denise. I've had the unique pleasure of knowing and working with Mary B., as she was effectively known, to avoid confusion between us, as I am Mary A. For over 30 years, I have known Mary. Again, we serve a strong, never-yielding advocate for our respected sons. Ironic, both of them are named Michael. But we acknowledge that there were other families with children and siblings that needed guidance and support. We, along with other mothers, share our experience to motivate and instill hope and to seek and secure service for individuals with disability. With this together, I, Mary, and 3 other mothers are known as the Mom Squad, the ladies in red. In her honor, I am wearing my red blazer today. We rally together in front of then Mayor Giuliani, as he wanted to cut our budget, the DD budget, 100%. Mary and I also serve under the council together. As Denise mentioned, we are on IHD Board of Director and even the Justice Center. Traveling with Mary, we were known as the 2 Marys from the Bronx by the Amtrak conductors. And Mary and I have continued to ensure and fight that the right of people with special needs were never ignored. For those who knew Mary B., she was definitely a force to be reckoned with, never afraid to express her belief and her opinion. However, her arguments were on the side of those who could not argue from themselves. Mary B. did earn the respect of many because it was always clear what her message was. Respectfully, she made the world for those in need a better place. Today, as we lovingly appreciate, cherish, and value the accomplishment, dedication, and life for Mary B., the warrior advocate, it is my honor and privilege to accept this award on behalf of her sons, Michael and Anthony, her daughter-in-law, Terry, her entire family and friends, Joanne Siegel and the Bronx DD Council, Service for the Development Challenge, co-founded by Mary, the Institute of Applied Human Dynamics board member, and all other organizations that Mary was affiliated with. Mary B., thank you for all you have done, and once more, rest in peace. During our last telephone conference call 2 days before her death, Mary made a request to me to not forget her. Well, Mary, you will never be forgotten, as your spirit will always be with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary, for those very kind words. Our next champion award is presented to an advocate for a program the Justice Center facilitates called TRADE, which stands for Technology-Related Assistance for Individuals with Disabilities. The program provides assistive technology to individuals with special needs to help them live, work, learn, and thrive in the community. Helene Fallon works with the Long Island Communities of Practice. She reaches out to individuals, families, and providers, educating them on the resources available to help them lead independent lives. She has consistently worked with the Justice Center on ideas that benefit not only her own trade center, but also others across the state. She understands the importance of clear documentation and timeliness of activities and shares her ideas and tips freely, always welcoming feedback and constructive criticism. Her positive attitude and commitment to serving individuals with special needs is evident at trade meetings as well as other state agency committees. Helene can often be found at local autism walks, training sessions for job seekers, and other outreach events that support individuals with disabilities. In recognition of this dedication, we present the Justice Center Champion Award to Helene Fallon. Helene?
Hi. Can you hear me, Denise?
Yes.
Hi,
Yes.
Denise.
Welcome,
Thank you
Helene.
so much. I am just honored, and I apologize. I had to write a couple of things down because in my minute, I want to make sure that I recognize that I certainly couldn't do this alone. And I wanted to take that time to make sure that I recognized and thanked our committed teams that we are lucky to work with here on Long Island. And even before this crazy, challenging time of pandemic, our team has always been passionate about the work that we do. We have been able, since the pandemic, to actually facilitate over 100 loans or opportunities to assist persons with disabilities, which is just amazing because everybody just jumped in and stepped up to the plate to make sure that we were able to help as many people as possible. So we're very thankful to the Justice Center and to the Trade Project, and I hope everybody recognizes how important assistive technology is to our family and our participants. Our philosophy and belief is that every person in our society, with or without a disability, of every age, gender, culture, or color, have the right to an equal right to have access to assistive technology and the overall supports necessary to live the most independent, successful, and happy life. I want to thank my family, including my right-hand person, Heather, for their patience, our trade team, especially Maureen Erickson, our primary administrator, Randy Young, Patty McCarthy, and Maria Patarello from Silo, which I'll speak about in a moment, Melinda at the Justice Center, and all the team at the Justice Center who support our work in many ways and are always willing to lend a hand and jump in to help in any way. I have to take a second to thank our partners at the Suffolk Independent Living Organization, famously known as Silo. Mr. Joseph Delgado, Felicia Fiano, Lori Delgado, Brian McIlvain, Amy Mendez, and the entire staff, without whom this project would absolutely be impossible to implement with the efficiency and ongoing outreach we are able to achieve. Silo sets the standard for services so high, and we are proud to be a partner in their work. Their projects are way too many to identify, but I please ask you all to go onto their website, find out about New York Connects, about what we're doing with them with trade, and so many more projects to see all the amazing work that they do. And I wanted to also mention one of our other big projects. I have to take a minute to acknowledge the Center for Community Inclusion at Long Island University. CCI hosts numerous grants that are specifically funded to support the least restrictive, inclusive environment for persons with disabilities. Founded by Dr. Kathleen Feely, our teams work endlessly to ensure that all persons have a right to free and appropriate education that leads to the best, most independent lives as possible. Overall, I'm truly humbled to receive this award, and I was so surprised, and I can't be more thankful, and I will continue the work for as long as I can with all of these amazing teams to support persons with and without disabilities. We look to help people that might be at risk. Assistive technology is often a key to a successful independent life. And I can't thank you enough for this very special recognition. I have chills, and thank you. And may you all be safe, and God bless you.
Thank you again, Helene, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Our next award recipient has served on the Justice Center's Surrogate Decision-Making Committee for a quarter of a century. In that time, Mark Gustin has been an exemplary volunteer, participating in the creation of education activities and assisting in the training and recruiting of new volunteers. Mark helped create a mock hearing video for prospective volunteers, as well as a volunteer brochure that is used at all of our outreach events. He also provides valuable feedback on our volunteer training, signs up frequently for refresher courses, and attends outside courses focused on the individuals we serve to ensure he fully understands their rights and needs. Mark has served as a chairperson of 253 SDMC hearings. In the course of that role, Mark goes out of his way to ask questions in advance of the hearing in an effort to prevent issues from cropping up at the committee hearings and possibly delaying needed medical care. Our staff noted that Mark's care and compassion extends beyond his volunteer role. Each year, he sends holiday cards to all of our SDMC staff members. It is my privilege to present this Champion Award to Mark Gustin. Mark.
Thank you, and good morning to everyone. As a surrogate decision-making committee volunteer and a retired behavioral health care executive, it has been and continues to be a most gratifying and rewarding experience to facilitate the medical decision process for individuals with intellectual disabilities who do not have the capacity to make medical decisions, family members, or a legal guardian, and are in need of medical treatment. Fortunately, the surrogate decision process enables these individuals to receive appropriate medical treatment. A sincere thanks to the SDM family for their assistance and guidance, and the Justice Center Championship Award is my Academy Award. Thank you.
Congratulations, Mark, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our final award winner has been a champion for the Justice Center's mission from day one. Rob Kent served as the General Counsel at OASIS, and in that role, he always put the needs of people receiving services and their family members first. So it was not a surprise when he supported the creation of the Justice Center, and he advocated on the JC's behalf to OASIS providers statewide. Rob supported training on abuse prevention and reporting for substance abuse providers, even organizing a statewide webinar about the agency. Whenever he participated in a training, he consistently championed the Justice Center's mission and the vital role we play in the lives of individuals with special needs. In response to Justice Center recommendations, Rob led efforts to develop a campaign to educate staff about maintaining professional boundaries and preventing and finding contraband in treatment settings. He has stood behind the agency when faced with questions and concerns from members of the legislature and providers. We have repeatedly heard from provider agencies that there is no bigger champion of the Justice Center than Rob. We are honored today to present this Champion Award to Robert Kent. Rob?
Thank you. Here I am, sorry. Thanks, Denise. I want to, thank you. I want to also thank the great Justice Center team that works for you. I have to say that I was genuinely surprised and touched when Davin reached out to tell me about the award. Of course, she did mention that there were many quote unquote Rob Kent stories shared during the nomination process. I can only imagine what she meant by that. I've said from the beginning that the Justice Center would and has made the OASIS system safer for those in its care. I'm proud of my work at OASIS and my work with the Justice Center. I'm especially proud of Michelle Falkowski, Nelia Amato, and Tricia Allen, who helped me at OASIS with the Justice Center work. The creation of the Justice Center, in my opinion, was an overt act of caring by New York State and by the governor. And its work has been a continued demonstration that we care. You see, in my opinion, it's not enough to say you care in the words you say and in the things you put on the shirts that you wear. Your actions always speak more loudly. I've always believed that there is a nobility to folks who seek recovery from addiction. And there is nothing more powerful than watching a person in recovery do things they never thought were possible. We owe those seeking recovery from addiction safety and protection during their recovery process, and the Justice Center helped me and helped OASIS make that a reality. I believe that at the end of our days, we are judged on how we have treated others, especially those in need of help. I've committed my life to protecting and helping those in recovery and those seeking recovery. I'm honored to receive this award, and I accept it as a champion for the OASIS system, and more importantly, as a champion for those in recovery and those trying to get there and the families that are helping them along the way. I want to end with some timely words from the great Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who said, "If you want to be a true professional, you will do something outside of yourself, something to repair tears in your community, something to make life a little better for those less fortunate than you." That's what I think a meaningful life is, living not for oneself, but for one's community. So with that, I thank you. I wish everyone to be safe, be well, and take care.
Thank you, Rob. We thank each of our Champion Awards for their dedication to the individuals we serve and to the Justice Center. With that, I would now like to turn things over to our Advisory Council Chairperson, Bill Getman, and Chairperson of the Workforce Committee, Glenn Liebman, who will present this year's Code of Conduct Awards. Bill, Glenn?
Good morning, Denise. It's an honor to be here with you today. First off, let me congratulate the champion winners, Wayne, Mark, and Rob. You are true champions, not only today, but every single day. You've impacted thousands and thousands and thousands of lives across New York State, and we thank you for that. I want to spend a minute to talk about Mary B, though. Mary B, the Bronx champion, as we called her, a true diehard advocate who cared not only for her family, but for every family across New York State. Mary was not afraid to speak truth to power. She did it respectfully, but she never backed down. She cared, she listened, and she had the persistence that has led to improvements in all of our human service systems. So today, it's a sad day, but a special day to honor Mary. Her legacy will not be forgotten, as Mary St. Mark said. We will carry it on, and we will have a loud voice. We're very excited today to talk about and to honor this year's Code of Conduct winners. We had over 200 nominees this year, and as Glenn will point out in a moment, it was almost impossible to discern who deserves the Code of Conduct Award. Everyone who was nominated deserves a pat on the back and applause, because this has been an incredible year. An incredible year started in March, and COVID-19 has affected all of us. However, the Justice Center didn't stand down. The Justice Center, within 24 hours, changed the way they received calls and handled investigations. So I want to take a minute also to give a shout out and kudos to Denise Miranda and her entire staff at the Justice Center. Their perseverance, their creativity, their ability to change on the dime made a difference for everyone in New York State and maintained protections that are so vital to our kids and our families. Every day the Justice Center showed up, and that was incredible. The other group of people who showed up every day were our direct care professionals, our direct service providers, our frontline essential workers. When you think about it, they left the safety of their own homes to come care for our kids, our adults, and our vulnerable individuals. So we salute all the essential workers across New York State. You made it a little better for thousands and thousands of people who could not care for themselves. So without further ado, I'd like to begin to introduce the first Code of Conduct winner and talk a little bit, and then have her come up and accept her award, virtually of course, social distancing, and she does not need to wear a mask today. Lisa Ibar has spent her entire life working with people who have less fortunate situations. She's currently the director at the Mount Sinai Beth Israel CPEP program, and she's a clinical manager, and she cares about her clients. Before COVID hit, Lisa packed her bag and headed to Puerto Rico to provide vital mental health services there after the devastating earthquake earlier this year. But that didn't stop her. When COVID hit, she led her team across the organization to care for people who were scared, who needed counseling, who needed support, who needed hope. She did whatever she could do, and she modeled the behavior of, I will do it first. In her spare time, not that she had too much, she served and volunteered on the New York City EMS, and she helped people who had psychiatric emergencies and were suffering from trauma. In all these processes and endeavors, Lisa was compassionate, very, very humble, and committed to improving the lives of others. She gave of herself, and she's a very well-deserving awardee. In the nomination we received, the quote was, she's a beautiful influencer who leads by example with her heart, and our patients at the center are benefiting. Lisa, it's our honor to present you the 2020 Code of Conduct Award.
Thank you. Good morning, all. I would like to give a special thanks to the New York Justice Center, to all the nominees, the recipients of this award, my coworkers, friends, my supporting beautiful family, my parents, my loving children, Tati and Andy, and the patients. I don't believe anyone enters this work for recognition. Either you believe in the need and the mission, or you dedicate your energy elsewhere. To hear that my love for this work stands out, and to that one of the organizations that sets and monitors the standard for what we do has selected me is simply difficult to wrap my head around. I deeply appreciate the nomination by Dr. Grant Mitchell and my selection by the professionals at the New York Justice Center. I don't have to tell anyone how challenging 2020 has been for everyone on so many levels. We use the word need so often in this work. It's what we assess and work to address. 2020 and COVID took the concept of need to a whole new and unimaginable level. The needs at the hospital were great for our patients and their families. Families had such difficulty understanding this pandemic. They felt hopeless as they couldn't be with their loved ones, many suffering and dying alone. The regulations kept changing and families continued to be confused and scared. The needs were greatly changing and evolving. It was hard on us as providers as well. We feared for our own safety, seeing so much more death than we normally do, not knowing what to expect, when will it get better. We found comfort in each other, we cried, we laughed, we prayed together. Personally, I just felt like it was time for battle mode. New York City, where I live and work, had become the pandemic epicenter. I felt I just couldn't do enough, and we had to fight until we reached the other side of this crisis. One day, early in the COVID emergency, I was speaking with a colleague who also volunteers as an EMT with a local EMS agency. I learned there was another challenge on the other side, outside the hospital walls. EMS was providing struggling challenges with patients, separating them from their families, not able to accompany them to the hospital. The COVID spread had taken a particular hard impact on communities of color, especially areas with high population of non-English speakers. Again, another need that was going unmet. So I felt I could take my resource bag on the road, and I spent several shifts with a local EMS unit. I'm not sure who benefited more, either the patients, the families, the EMT workers who had a bilingual professional to ease the transition, or to be honest, myself, as I felt I was making a greater impact than just working at the hospital. It eased my level of frustration because I felt we were losing this battle. But we did make it to the other side, and we all learned so much. COVID-19 was a huge life changer for everyone. I am certain every day that I chose the right profession for me, and I am and forever will be thankful, grateful for the opportunity to serve both inside and outside the hospital setting. I want to thank everyone that felt I was worthy of this recognition. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa, and congratulations again. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Now I'd like to pass the mic over to Glenn Liebman, the chair of the Workforce Committee and also the executive director of the Mental Health Association of New York State. You're on, Glenn.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Bill. I appreciate this opportunity. And just to echo the words of Bill, what an incredible, amount of nominations that we received this year, and just the caliber of people is just absolutely incredible. The sacrifice that people have made during COVID, but even, in regular times, so-called regular times, people are just so committed. I'm just so moved. I think we all are. I know the members of the advisory committee, the subcommittee that works on workforce, that we're reviewing these awards. I know that, the leadership of the Justice Center, Denise and Davin and others, when they were, looking at this and identifying, some top people here, it was incredible to see the level of people who were just being recognized. So congratulations to everyone, because you are really, the top of the top. It's absolutely incredible. And I just want to recognize for a minute, several of the champion awards are actually colleagues of mine and friends of mine. And, as Bill articulated so well, Mary was just a wonderful advisory committee member. She was always very shy, never shared her opinion about anything, just the opposite. I mean, you knew where Mary stood. She was just such a force. What an incredible person, just a strong advocate, not only for her son, but she saw the global picture. As Mary St. Mark said, she saw the global picture. She advocated not just for her son, but for the entire community. And we're blessed to have had people like that. And we're blessed to have Mary, as part of this. I also want to recognize Mark Guston. Mark was the person who hired me at the Mental Health Association 17 years ago. Mark is also an incredible advocate, internal advocate. He's always fought for the right thing. His vision has always been about doing the right thing, mission-driven, and I'm very lucky to have worked under him and befriended him as well. And I also want to recognize Rob Kent, who's a friend of mine. Rob was always there for me when my son was going through his addiction issues, just not only as a professional, but as a friend, someone I could talk to and reach out to, and an incredible advocate, as we all know. So that said, I want to recognize another incredible advocate, the late Edwin Garcia. So touching. Edwin was the security hospital treatment assistant for 14 years at the Manhattan Forensic Psychiatric Center. The first line in his nomination, I think, was, so germane. They said he was always smiling. His calming demeanor helped de-escalate patients. He put patients' needs first. He was a team player, and when COVID struck, he was one of the first staff to volunteer for hospital duty, which meant monitoring the patients while they were in another hospital. Mr. Garcia contracted COVID and passed away in May. It's incredible. His loss was felt throughout the facility. Patients and his peers remember him fondly as someone who was always willing to go out of his way to help and assist, usually with a smile and a friendly laugh. It's just what an incredible reflection of our entire system of care, people like Mr. Garcia. James Parker, Mr. Garcia's supervisor, will be accepting on behalf of Mr. Garcia. Mr. Parker?
Good morning, everyone. First things first, I'd like to introduce Ms. Charlene McLean, who is a co-worker and significant other of Edwin Garcia, who were together for many, many years. Edwin, as was already spoken, was a hardworking and very dedicated employee here at Mid-Hudson Forensic Psychiatric Center. First thing you notice about Edwin is he'd always have a smile on his face. Smile on his face for everybody from the time that he came in to the time he left. Also, his care and dedication to the patients. We have many patients that come that are Spanish speaking, and he was usually the first one to come and speak to them and to comfort the patients and to assist them in all their needs. He's volunteered anything, like said before, when COVID hit, he was one of the first people to voluntarily go to the hospital and sit with the patients and take care of the patients while they're at the hospital. His loss is felt shockwaves through the facility. Even now, patients asking all the time about Mr. Garcia. And I thank the Justice Center for this award, and I graciously and humbly accept it on behalf of Mr. Garcia. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Parker. Thank you. And now I will hand it over back to Bill.
Let me unmute myself. Let's try that again. Our third nominee is Nicole Pera. Nicole Pera. For the last 3 years, Nicole has supervised 34-bed treatment program, scattered site apartment program for those individuals with mental illness and substance abuse. And as you can imagine, in the COVID world, scattered site buildings and isolation are a critical issue. That didn't stop Ms. Pera because she began visiting each person in their apartment on a daily basis. That's correct. She would not put her staff at risk, but she went out every day to make sure that the clients received the services, were not becoming isolated, and did not have other issues. And she did that in mid-March and continues to this day. At the request of some of the residents, she began facilitating support groups in the courtyard in one of the apartment buildings. Talk about doing social distancing outside in a safe way, of course with compliance, with masks and the like. And even on Easter Sunday, she came in and cooked and served dinner to the residents. Her efforts paid off on an individual basis. She's maintained safety for her residents and support, and allowed them to continue to meet their treatment and personal needs and goals. So it's our pleasure on behalf of the Advisory Council to award the Code of Conduct Award 2020 to Nicole Pera.
Hello, I thank the Justice Center for this award. I am extremely humbled in light of so many of my colleagues that have had so many challenges during the COVID epidemic. I would like to first thank my program manager, Donna Crawford, for taking the time to nominate me, and also my executive director, Rosemary Duran, and associate director, Laura Norwood, for considering me for this award. Our administration has worked tirelessly as well to try and meet the challenges of COVID. What I do here, I couldn't have done without my team of counselors on site with me, who also were very dedicated, from my overnight staff to my day staff that have come in every day with me tirelessly and put themselves at risk to make sure that our residents' needs have been met. COVID, I think, has been a challenge for so many of the populations we serve. Just the isolation and quarantine period was very challenging, as well as the limitations with their services in the community being provided. We basically became their lifeline to the world during a lot of this. And again, I'm extremely humbled by this award, because I know that across our state and across the United States right now, we are seeing so many challenges with mental health and substance abuse. And I know there's a tremendous dedicated group of colleagues collectively working tirelessly with our population. So thank everybody who is out there for doing what they're doing.
Thank
And
you.
again, thank you for this
Thank you for
award.
making a difference every day. Brian?
Thank you, Bill. You're so right. People are making a difference every day. I have the honor of introducing Babita Prasad. Just a little bit about her impressive resume. She's been a mental health therapy aide at the Capital District Psychiatric Center for 15 years. She actually received 2 nominations for her, both from coworkers who've worked with her for several years. She works on a unit with a diverse inpatient population. To succeed, a person can't be biased. They must treat everyone with dignity and respect, even when their behaviors are the most challenging. Her job also requires flexibility, creativity, and commitment, all vital portions of the Justice Center Code of Conduct. Her nominations were filled with examples of how she excels at all of these. She is known for being able to bring peace to the most challenging situations and is able to work with a distraught young man 1 minute and then provide care and assistance to an older patient who needs physical and emotional support the next minute. She has developed a reputation as dedicated and hardworking. She gives positive energy to coworkers, communicates well with patients, and is a valued treatment team member. She always gives encouragement to patients and colleagues. She checks back in with staff and patients after difficult moments on the unit to see how they are doing, and is always the calm in the eye of the storm. She took care of a COVID patient at the psychiatric center who used a wheelchair and needed significant assistance in activities of daily living. She worked 16 hours a day with this person so that other staff would not have to be exposed to COVID. Incredible. She did this with ease and compassion. She brought hope and healing to the person who recovered from COVID and is now working to rebuild his life outside of the hospital. So it is truly my honor to present the Code of Conduct Award to Babita Prasad.
Thank you, everyone. Good morning, everyone. I would like to begin by thanking everyone for attending this virtual ceremony. I'm truly honored, appreciated, and excited for this nomination, the Justice Code of Center Recognition Award. It's a pleasure, it's an honor, and I'm very excited. Thank you so much. I would like to thank Ms. Lucy, our Program Director, Nursing Director, and Ms. Laura, Social Worker, for nominating me for this award. Thank you so much. I'm extremely fortunate to work here at CDPC, upstate Albany, New York, with this special group of patients and staff. Thank you all for all your love, support, encouragement, and respect every day. Because of you, I'm here every day. Thank you. A special thank you to all the patients on Unit L for all their love and respect, and most especially for working with me. Also, I would like to thank you all, the staff of Unit L, especially Mr. Jamie, Program Director, Ms. Lucy, Nurse Administrator, Wendy, LPN, Mahadas, Lisa, Marshall, Michelle, Aiken, Bob, Juliet, Ms. Laura, Social Worker, Ms. Terry, Secretary, and Ms. Donna and Jenny from the Rehab Center, Ms. Emily, Mike, Robin from the FS, and Mike, the Infection Control Worker. Thank you all so much for all your love, your respect, your support through this hard time. it meant a lot to me. Thank you so much for this award again. Thank you.
Much congratulations. You can tell how loved you are by your colleagues, and that speaks volumes. Let me hand this back to Bill.
Thank you, Glenn, and congratulations. As a provider who works closely with the Catholic District Psychiatric Center, we value their professionalism and their persistence in working through COVID. So thank you to the entire team. Our next nominee is Brenda Robinson. Brenda Robinson has been working for the last 11 years as a team leader at a day half program for individuals with developmental disabilities. When you read Brenda's nomination, you're struck by several things. She doesn't let anything get in her way. She provides services and encourages her staff to provide services despite any barriers that pop up. Let me give you several examples. In one case, there was a client or service recipient who was very stressed about being home all day, and yet his family was concerned that going out in the community during COVID was not safe. Brenda was able to build a plan, provide support, provide coaching and counseling so that the individual could go out in the community in a safe, less stressful way. Again, nothing got in her way. The second story is about an individual who volunteered at Meals on Wheels. But with COVID, that became very stressful. Brenda was able to modify the job description and the routine of the job so this individual could continue to volunteer, provide support in his community, and do it safely. And the last story is about a chocolate bar. Brenda had a habit of always paying attention to the details. And she had a client that was always would buy a chocolate bar from the local vending machine every Friday. She noticed that the chocolate bars were gone from the vending machine. And she thought for a moment and said, what do I do? The individual did not like going out in the community, but she was able to work with the individual and the other staff to plan a safe and less stressful trip to the local store to get a chocolate bar. So the next time you pass a vending machine or you think about picking up a chocolate bar, think about Brenda Robinson and what she does for our state and our community. Congratulations, Brenda.
Thank you. Thank you. First, I'd just like to say that I feel very honored to be in the same category as all these people today. I am truly humbled by that. I'm also very thankful and appreciative to Roseanne Ragusa and Cindy Donahue for collaborating on this nomination. Sorry.
You're doing fine, you're doing great. Take a breath.
Basically, I just feel very blessed to be able to come to work every day and be surrounded by so many amazing individuals that I serve. They have truly impacted my life in a way that is unsurmountable. So all I can say is I appreciate all the support and guidance that I have received from my supervisors and managers through the 12 years that I've been here. They have been truly amazing and very supportive, even when I do come up with some crazy ideas or am very strongly advocating for our individuals. They always take the time to listen and help me put into action some of the ideas that I do have. So I am very grateful for this entire organization at J.M. Murray. I don't know where I would be without them. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Brenda. And as somebody who knows where J.M. Murray is and used to work with them many years ago, you did great, great work. The next time Glenn and I split a chocolate bar, we're gonna enjoy it in your honor. So thank you for making it impact. Glenn?
Thank you, Bill. And anytime you want to split a chocolate bar, I'm there. But actually, sweets are kind of the prevailing theme here for the next awardee, Vanessa White. Ms. White has been a healthcare specialist at YAI for a little less than 2 years and has already left her mark on the agency and the people who receive services at YAI. The people in the home she works in need extensive assistance from staff for all activities of daily living support and with making their needs known. In her nomination states that the people Ms. White supports truly come first and the system has to follow as possible. She advocates for supports and services that are person-centered, always asking herself and her colleagues, how does that affect the person? How are they feeling about this? Strong words. Ms. White's heroic efforts during COVID crisis reflect this. When 2 individuals living in the home contracted COVID in early April and were hospitalized briefly and then discharged to a respite apartment for quarantine, Ms. White volunteered to go into quarantine with them and spend 14 days in the apartment providing emotional, medical, and physical support for them. Just absolutely incredible. She was able to help them adjust to their new environment, find preferred activities, and assist them when they experienced stress and anxiety. Ms. White provided them comfort, security, and food. She made sure that the apartment was stocked with their favorite foods, secured funds for takeout from their favorite restaurants, and made sure, here's the prevailing theme, they never ran out of ice cream. In short, she created the best person-centered new normal she could during quarantine. This requires compassion, courage, flexibility, creativity, and commitment, and clearly she has all that. So I'd like to present this award to Ms. Vanessa White. Ms. White? Yes.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, I would like to say I would like to thank the Justice Center for presenting me with this very prestigious award. I am truly honored, and also I am very humbled. I would like to thank the team that I work with, YAI, the team in its entirety, because without all those people, what I did would not have been a success. I may be receiving this award, but everyone who helped me and worked with me worked as a great team, and we did it together to survive the thing that we went through. I would like to start off with thanking the administrative Queens team, which consists of Vanessa Walcott, my assistant coordinator, David O'Keefe, the regional director, Melanie Alap-Polis, who is our deputy director, and my immediate supervisor, Natalie Sandy Rael, who has always been a constant source of encouragement. She always had something positive. These people made sure they saw to it that the people I support were very comfortable as we went through those 14 days. Also, I got to give a shout out to my nurse, the nurse, senior nurse, Christina Indeligado, who stuck with me. She was right in there with me, coming to check on us and seeing to the needs of the people I support. I thank her so very much. I want to thank the BIS specialist, Yorkum Branister, who summarized those beautiful words that he submitted to y'all. All those people who nominated me, I just want to say thank you. I am very overwhelmed with it, and I love working for YAI, which is a great company. And what I did, I do it 1,000 times over again, because it's all about taking care of the people we support and seeing to their happiness and their comfort. Again, I say thank you to the Justice Center for this very, very wonderful award. And I want to give a quick shout out to my immediate team that I work out in my residence, Team US Left Rack. Again, everyone, I say thank you and have a very good day.
That was so tremendous. Everybody's been so tremendous. What great advocates we have here in our system of care in New York State. We're so honored to work with all of you. So thank you all very much, and just incredible, so heartfelt, so compassionate, so caring, and so intelligent as well, really recognizing the importance of the individuals we serve. People don't get into this field for the money. They get in because they care and they're compassionate, and it's so evident from everybody who's received these awards. So that said, I'd like to reintroduce Bill.
Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you.
Thank you for your leadership on the Workforce Committee. And congratulations to the 200 nominees that came in this year and our Code of Conduct winners. The selection process was incredible, but as you've seen, we have very powerful candidates. On behalf of the Advisory Council, we thank everyone for the work they do every day, because as the Governor says, we are New York strong and we are New York caring. Back to you, Denise.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Glenn, for your participation here today, for your kind words of support, and of course, for your commitment to the Advisory Council and to the Justice Center. Individuals with special needs serve as an inspiration for all of us, and that is abundantly clear in the testimonies that we heard today. Given the unprecedented nature of this year, we felt all direct support workers deserve special recognition for the challenges you have overcome. Working with the Governor's Office, we present today this proclamation that declares September Direct Care Workers Recognition Month. The proclamation reads, in part, whereas direct care workers and DSPs are among the essential workers who, by the nature of their positions, put themselves and their families at increased risk of contracting COVID-19 by simply going to work, and were called upon to do more than ever by working extra shifts as needed, and sometimes spending extended time away from their families. And whereas New Yorkers join to acknowledge the valuable work carried out daily by direct care workers and direct support professionals in enhancing the lives of a vast array of individuals with disabilities and special needs. We take this opportunity to extend appreciation for their contributions that help overcome challenges and reach their full potential, recognizing that their compassion is the essence of human services. Now, therefore, I, Andrew M. Cuomo, Governor of the State of New York, do hereby proclaim the month of September Direct Care Workers Recognition Month. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just a small token of the appreciation we have for all you do day in and day out, especially during COVID-19. Every year, we talk about the difference you make in the lives of individuals with special needs. But this year, you truly saved lives. You set aside the risks for your families and for yourself, and for that, we are eternally grateful. We conclude this day with a video we put together of direct service professionals across the various settings under the Justice Center jurisdiction. We hope you enjoyed today's presentation. I thank you for everything you do, for your compassion, for your commitment, for your kindness, and for your dedication. Please keep up this critical work and stay safe. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Ann Sullivan, Commissioner for the New York State Office of Mental Health. I would like to thank the Justice Center for offering this opportunity to say thank you to direct care workers across New York State. For our workers in OMH, it is an honor and privilege to be able to say thank you for all the commitment, courage, and dedication shown during this pandemic. They are true healthcare heroes. Our staff at OMH came in every single day despite the issues of COVID to work with our clients in our inpatient settings, our residential settings, our outpatient settings, to work with our patients to make sure they were safe and healthy. And I can't thank them enough. Their courage, their resilience, their ability to, in the most difficult of times, to have a spirit of hope and caring was just tremendous. We have also all suffered our own losses and our own pain during this epidemic. And if at any time, any agency worker or anyone in New York State should feel the need to talk to someone or be able to express their anxieties and their difficulties during this time, please feel free to call our emotional help support line. The number is available on our website, and it's 844-863-9314. So again, thank you to all this direct care staff, all the individuals who cared so much for our patients during this period of time in OMH. You are our healthcare heroes. Thank you.
Marlene Gonzalez-Sanchez, Commissioner of the New York State Office of Addiction Services and Supports, commonly known as OASIS. These have been trying times, and addiction has not taken a break. I want to say thank you to all frontline first responders during the coronavirus pandemic. I am very proud of our essential workforce, including the OASIS staff and New York State certified providers who provide addiction services and supports. I want you to know how much I appreciate you and the work you are doing. Your dedication and commitment to people across the state makes you a hero. We know recovery is possible, and it's through your work that services have remained available either safely in person or virtually. Many of you have struggled with the coronavirus, or perhaps you have personally lost a client, a colleague, a loved one, or know of people close to you who have. My heartfelt condolences to you at this time. Please continue to be New York strong and know that we are all in this together. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, and please stay safe.
Hi everyone, my name is Sheila Poole. I'm the Commissioner of the New York State Office of Children and Family Services. I am delighted to join my colleagues in recognizing this year's Justice Center Code of Conduct Award winners. Congratulations to all of you who have done a remarkable job during probably the most difficult year that we've ever had to endure as a state. And the fact that our direct care workforce, and certainly at OCFS, especially those direct care staff working with our children and youth in our foster care programs, deserve extraordinary praise for your exemplary commitment. We are happy to celebrate you. I am so grateful for the essential work that you have done on behalf of our kids and families. So congratulations to all of you. And again, thank you for your extraordinary service to our kids and families.
Hello everyone. I'd like to thank the Justice Center for inviting me to say a few words during their Code of Conduct and Champion Awards event. 2020 has been a trying year for everyone, for our individuals and their families, for our staff, and especially for our direct support professionals who are on the front lines supporting and caring for the people with developmental disabilities we mutually serve. Having worked as a direct support professional in the 1970s, I know how difficult this job can be under usual circumstances, but I can't even imagine what it's been like and continues to be like for all of you who are working day in and day out on the front lines. As a healthcare provider, I also understand the fears and worries of working during a pandemic, that you might become infected with the virus, or even worse, infect the individuals you support or members of your own families. It takes courage to overcome these fears and face them every day. I greatly admire your commitment. Individuals and families tell me that you are helping them in innumerable ways at their homes and day programs and through new modalities. But this is not really a surprise. This is something DSPs do each and every day, even when they're not dealing with the pandemic. Thank you does not seem to be enough for the effort and sacrifice you've made throughout this crisis. I see your work, I hear your stories. From myself and everyone at OPWDD, I sincerely thank you for all you do. Thank you.
you, everyone.